Let's move into a game that I want to get involved in. I have yet to make a bet in week one of the NFL season, but we had a monster preseason, 12-2 plus 9.9 units. So the season has gotten off to a spectacular start, and I want to get involved here. San Francisco 49ers, 10-7, 6-3 on the road at the Chicago Bears, 6-11 last year, 3-5 at home. We're at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Showers at this point. I know some people don't want to hear what the weather is 5 days in advance, but showers, 70 Fahrenheit, 13 mile per hour winds. The Niners open up as 6.5-point favorites. They've now moved to 7.5, but it's not a real 7.5. That 7.5 is plus 114, so it's 7. It's really a 7, but Pinnacle's listing the 7.5. This total opened up at 42 and is now 41. Moved to 41 Monday morning at 9 a.m. And I completely understand why the under is being bet. And I would like to get involved in the under. Let's take a look at the cash flow and see if it all correlates with the market move. We have 28,207 tickets in. Sports Insights is giving the 49ers about 15% line value for this. But I don't want the 49ers at this price. 29% of the tickets are on the Bears and 67% of the cash is on the Chicago Bears. Wild. Then you have 41%. Then you have 57% of the tickets on the under and 69% of cash on the under. So you have a reverse line movement on the spread and the market moving towards the under. 49ers are coming off a very strong season. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch have had a lot of time to build this team. Last year, I was sitting on the 33-1 NFC and 66-1 Super Bowl, and it came really close. This is Trey Lance's team now. They fixed the contract dispute with Deebo Samuel, extremely important. They bring back Jimmy G as a backup with a suitable contract. Deebo had 14 touchdowns last season, 8 rushing, 6 receiving, all-pro tight end George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk ready to take a step forward. Strong backfield with Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon. Center Daniel Brunskill expected to be out with a hamstring injury. That hurts Trey Lance in week one. It's a big point of emphasis for me in this game. He's expected to shift in place of retired center Alex Mack. If he misses week one, that would mean that the 49ers would have 3 new starters in the interior of their offensive line. They're going to be without 2 starters in their secondary in Verrett and Ward. And I don't want them, but I want the under, and I think they can control the game. Former Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus is the 5th Bears coach in the past 11 seasons, taking over from Matt Nagy. Can the Bears' weak offensive line protect Justin Fields and give him time to succeed? Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, Warner are licking their chops. Chicago allowed 58 sacks last year, the most in the league. The Bears will be without 1 projected starter on the offensive line in Dozier. They could be without another one in Patrick. The team lost their left tackle, Jason Peters. As you know, he's with the Cowboys. Right tackle, Jermaine Ifedi, and right guard, James Daniels, this offseason. Fields, 1,870 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He also ran for 420 yards and 2 touchdowns last season. He was the highest-graded quarterback in the preseason. I don't know how much you want to put into that. 8.1 yards per attempt, 7.6 yards per rush, and didn't have a turnover-worthy play. They lost Allen Robertson in the offseason. They have injuries to N'Keal Harry, David Moore, and Tajay Sharp. That's not going to help. They have a strong running game with Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. They tried to improve their secondary by drafting Washington quarterback Kyler Gordon with the 39th pick and defensive back Jaquan Brisker with the 48th pick in the second round. Here we go. The 49ers at the Bears, 1 p.m. Sunday. Let's roll, Andy. What do you think here?
I think the Bears are going to be better than last year in some facets. And that doesn't always mean winning games. Sometimes the team can be better and maybe even lose in more games. But, I mean, there were times where it just felt like the coaching staff, the management, everybody just didn't care. It's like, we're just going to keep rolling out whatever we have and we'll mail it in till the end of the year. And, I mean, really, really surprised at the offseason, not really getting any help for the offensive line. It was a bottom 5 offensive line. It will remain a bottom 5 offensive line. It really, maybe some continuity can help, but it's just the ceiling for this offensive line is very, very, very low. That's going to be a problem against pass rushes like this. There are days where the Bears will have good games. I don't know if this is one of them. I guess on the turf maybe slows it down a little, but boy, you named him off. It is a tough front four, front seven. They are going to get after him. We saw Hurts get hit a million times, Fields. Mix up all my young quarterbacks. I've been talking. I think I tried to trade Hurts for Fields in one league the other weekend and didn't go through. But Fields and Lance in this game, Fields got hit a ton. That's not going to be. It's just not going to be a good matchup in that sense. I have them ranked as I think the 31st best offensive line going forward. The Bears just doing bupkis really, really surprised me. Money coming in on the Niners and the under, even on the road on turf. I don't like this either. Same as you. Basically, if you're betting on the Niners, you're saying, I know more about Trey Lance than the market does. I'm smarter. I know he's going to be good. You could win. You could get lucky, but I don't think anyone knows more about what we're going to get from Trey Lance. We saw some hiccups in his limited time last year. We saw some the opposite of Burrow. I always talk about Burrow and his poise, how he looks like he's been in the league for like 10 years. And Lance was the opposite. We saw some trepidation. We saw some of those rookie hiccups. And I don't think I'm laying 7 points on the road on a rookie quarterback and essentially his first real start. Like now you've had the camp, you've had the time, we've given you the keys. It's a lot of points to lay on the road with a young quarterback. I see some people mentioning teasers, not a bad teaser leg, but I will say historically of the four ways that you can tease on sides is the home favorite, the home dog, the road favorite, and the road dog. The road favorite is the worst of the four over a big sample size. That is the toughest one to get home. And that's true. I did bet the Bears under regular season win total at 6.5 this year. I don't think the Bears get there. But yeah, if you made me bet this, honestly, if there was a 7.5 that appeared at reasonable juice, I'd have to think about that. And I really, really dislike the Bears. So, I mean, it's just so many points on the road for a team that, you're going in with a kind of an unproven quarterback. And honestly, for some of these teams, that's the only thing that matters. There's a lot of teams you see with really good rosters and the quarterback's not there, and they're a 500 team. So it's the most high leverage spot, and it's the biggest unknown on these Niners. So staying away from that for sure for me.
Well, I'm going to load in on the under in this one. It's a.
I didn't mention the total, but yeah, I mean everything I just said. If the quarterback play is underwhelming on both sides, I think you could end up with a really ugly, sloppy game in the Midwest. And, you teased yourself a little about getting into the weather too early. Definitely get into the weather. That was a weak spot for me in the past couple of years where I bet a couple totals early. I think I was on the over on the Cleveland Raiders game where there was like a wind tunnel and they scored about 6 points combined. So remind me if we're looking at bad weather. I'm not sure what Chicago's forecast is right now.
It is showers at this point. 70 Fahrenheit, 13 miles per hour wind. I'm going to move on this under. This will be locked in tonight. I should have gone in earlier. That 42 might be helpful, but I'll lock in at 41. That is the Niners Bears.
We at Pub Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, you'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a Cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to toast the victors and roast the losers. The Cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.